Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 148 of the RRBG podcast. This episode is brought to you by our friends in Thunderking Coffee. Due to the current pandemic, all the promo codes have been canceled. However, Thunderking Coffee has decided to sell their coffee at wholesale price, which is a steal. It's much better than the discount you were getting with our code. So go to their website, thunderkingcoffee.com, and support independent businesses. They're going through a hard time right now. We're all going through a hard time, but if we're able to support each other, I think we can get through this. This episode is also brought to you by our friends in Saints Joints. They make the best pre-roll joint packages available in the market, currently selling out of California, Washington, and Oklahoma. If you don't see it at your local dispensary, make sure you ask for it. And check out their website, saintsjoints.com, to support by picking up some merch, some t-shirts, and some other products. And finally, this episode is brought to you by our friends in Hella Hot Hot Sauce, making some of the best craft hot sauce you can find in collaboration with bands like Hatebreed and Gwar. Like everybody else, struggling through this time, unable to have their doors open, so anything helps. Go to their website, hellahothautsauce.com, and pick up some hot sauce. In this episode, I talked to Nick DiSalvo of Elder. I caught him while he's living out in Berlin. We talk a little bit about the quarantine situation out there and how it's affecting him. We talk about all the postponed shows he had coming up with the band. We talk about some of his influences, and we talk a lot about their newest record, Omens, which is available now. Don't forget to follow the band on social media at Elder Band, and please check out the Patreon page. Go to patreon.com/RRBG and support. Cheers.
Bored more than anything else, which I guess is not the worst thing that could be possibly happening to me right now. But, we would be ramping up to go on tour right now, and instead I'm sitting in my living room and preparing to do that for the next fucking half a year probably. So
I keep hearing rumors that people they want to open up the world in mid-May or something, but I don't see that happening.
Probably the people playing shows and going to shows are going to be the last people to return to normalcy.
Yeah.
You're out in California, right?
Yeah, in Los Angeles, yeah.
Must be pretty hectic over there.
Yeah, it's a little crazy. It's still unbelievable to me to see so many people out and about.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of people, and thankfully those people that are out are wearing masks and trying to stay away from each other, but I don't know. It seems weird. Like you said, the music scene will probably be most affected by this, where, I read an article, they were like, the big festivals probably won't be back until 2021.
I mean, I've seen some of that floating around too. I'm just kind of choosing to ignore it right now, hope for the best, and expect the worst. Expect to be doing, no shows for as long as a year, but hopefully, out of the blue, a vaccine will be found or developed.
That would be good.
That'd
be good. Where are you at right now?
I'm in Germany. Yeah, Berlin.
How is it over there? I mean, is it really crazy? I know like Italy was hit really hard, and a couple other European countries, but how's Berlin doing?
No, it's good here. Germany is like they were really well prepared and did testing really aggressively and have been able to get the situation pretty stabilized pretty quickly. So especially compared to like Italy and France, who are right next door, we have like one of the lowest death rates, I think. And they're already starting to open up like small shops on Monday. So they're already starting to make some steps to like normalize life. But people are cautious, but it's definitely not like New York City or Milan over here. It's pretty safe. I think the Germans are pretty good at, bureaucracy and preparation and organization. These are like their societal skills, so I feel pretty safe over here.
That's good. And you live there normally, just or were you there for visiting or anything?
No, I've been here in Berlin for 4 years, and I just live here.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
You get the dual citizenship. Did they hook you up with that?
I don't have that yet. I'll be applying for German citizenship as soon as I'm eligible. But right now I'm married to a European, so I'm just a resident, and yeah, not a citizen yet. You have to take a test for that, but I'll probably do that eventually.
Is the whole band out there or just you?
Three of the four guys are out here now.
Okay, all right. So you guys are going to become a German band.
Yeah.
Even though you started off in Boston, but...
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever be a German... Well, one of us is German. Our new drummer is German, so I guess it's slowly creeping in, but I don't feel very German.
How would that feel? Do you speak German?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. How would you feel? What would make you feel German? I'm curious.
I don't know.
Do you go out drinking a lot of beers, a lot of pilsners and lagers?
I do that. I'm guilty. I'm very guilty of that. I'm doing it right now, actually. But I don't know. You know, what would make me German? A total fear of small talk and smiling at people on the street. Germans are sweet. Right. I like Germans. I have a pretty deep connection with this country, and I've lived here now for like almost 10 years. And it's, but German sometimes I still don't really relate to. As long as you live here, I'm definitely an American. I feel my background, and I feel that I'm very much not, I don't know, I have a different mentality maybe. Okay. But it's hard to pinpoint anyhow. Berlin is kind of like a separate place within Germany. Anyhow, it's much more international, much more open. If you went to Munich or like deep South Bavaria, then you definitely notice the difference. But it's pretty laid back here.
Nice. I know that they appreciate metal and heavy metal out there a lot. Is like the type of music you guys do, which is more of like a doom, stoner, prog rock. Is that really big out there as well?
I wouldn't say no. I mean, there's definitely a European strand of this kind of like stoner, doom, psychedelic, heavy music, and I think it tends towards the more melodic side of things. But as far as like, we're kind of a band that slips between the cracks at the moment. You know, we're too progressive for the stoner fans, and we're too maybe riffy for the prog rock fans. So I kind of feel like we're in a weird transition or a transitionary period. But no, so I don't really even know how the scene is for like prog rock over here. We're just not part of it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I heard the new single you guys put out, I believe, Embers?
Yeah,
and it's it's a different. It's different. Like I can't really put my finger on it. It's not stoner metal like you said. It's not doomy. It's very melodic and very proggy. Kind of reminded me of like some of the earlier Coheed and Cambria prog, like when they were, I think like their first album. It was a little more proggy.
I've never really listened. I've never even listened to them, but nice. That single definitely drew a lot of angry complaints about it being emo, which I didn't get really because that's not a genre I have my head in whatsoever. It was never like an influence, and I think it just came from probably mostly the vocal lines, and people aren't used to hearing that much melody and what they expect from like a heavy rock band.
Right. Yeah. I liked it. But and then again, I listen to everything. I listen to, I'll go listen to disco if the time is right. So.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I thought it was great. The album comes out, Omens comes out April 24th via Armageddon Shop.
Yeah, just on Friday.
On Friday. I mean, it's got to be rough with the whole quarantine situation because usually you'll be on the road kind of doing like a release party and, a lot of the money you guys make is on the road too, just merch sales, T-shirt sales, and CD sales. What do you think is how's it looking for you guys? Is it pre-order wise?
It's been good. I mean, we definitely chose the worst possible time to release a record, and we really leaned heavily on being able to tour our asses off once it came out. And so, yeah, of course we're not going to be sitting as well as we would have been. And anyhow, we put in massive investments of money just to record the record and to press vinyl and this kind of stuff. So we're lucky we do have a fan base and people who order the record regardless. But even those numbers have taken a hit because I think people are just a little more cautious with their money right now. And anyhow, we're seeing like problems getting the records delivered to the States and problems with shipping because of all the carriers being disrupted. And just so I can understand that too, people not wanting to even mail order a record, but you know, people also aren't able to go to a record store and buy it. Just kind of everything's a little frozen right now. And it's one of those times that makes you very thankful for the internet.
Yeah. It's also Record Store Day today.
Yeah, you know, I did see a meme about that.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Record Store Day. I mean, I usually get up every year. I go, man. It's, you know, I talked about this yesterday with someone, but it's usually the only time of the year I stand in line for anything. Like, I don't do lines at all. So now
you have to when you go to the grocery store, though. So
actually, I've been lucky. The grocery store near me is actually not bad.
Oh, okay.
Like it's pretty. They're pretty good about keeping people in and out, I guess. And I haven't had trouble with that yet, but yeah, usually the standing in line thing is something I don't do just because, you know, Cuban people like myself, we grew up standing in line for food, so I always feel like this deep like hatred for lines.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, but yeah, Record Store Day, I always do it just because it's the time of the year I like to. It's like a holiday for me. I like to go out, buy some records, see what kind of cool stuff people are bringing out, and supporting the stores. You know, because without record stores, I mean, I don't know where we would be right now, and they seem to be dying off little by little, and this might even take them down a notch even further. You know.
Of course. I mean, there's so many people who can barely, I know a lot of stores that can barely pay their rent as is during normal operation. And now I'm sure it's just devastating.
Yeah. There's a lot of those in like downtown Long Beach. You go and there's just boarded up. They put plywood like a hurricane, like some kind of tornadoes coming. And it's like, yeah, maybe that's just for looters, I guess.
I hope so. Yeah. I've seen some bars and shit do that too. I'm really hoping it doesn't mean that they're just like closing down entirely, but I don't know what the situation is like for small business loans. If like record stores need help, hopefully they can get it in the States, you know?
Yeah. I heard that there was some trouble with that. I haven't looked into it because I don't own a business, or at least any brick and mortar type of business, but yeah, it's hopefully the government comes through for them. I know the stimulus check that we got was not much.
Yeah, you could say that twice.
Yeah, it was not much. Our rent for 1 month is $1,900, so $1,200 is not doing anything.
It's a fucking joke. It's a fucking joke, is what it is, of course. But I mean, you know, don't even need to waste words with that. You know what the administration's bottom line and what their priorities are. So it's definitely not you and me.
No, for sure. Are you doing okay money wise? You're not fully dependent on the music for money, are you?
No, I have a day job. I work for our European record label, and I mean we're also hurting, but the label's pretty good at hustling, and so I also live in a pretty cheap city, so I'm doing fine. You know, the music is really how I can actually earn some money. I can pay the rent with what I'm doing, and I can kind of float. But I mean, depending on how long this shit goes on, like everyone's in trouble, kind of from top to the bottom. Bands, labels, record stores, promoters, venue owners. There's just no salvation. But Germany's again a pretty safe place to be because I think there is a little more help available to people, and helps not being several $1 trillion in debt.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to give props to the label people and the PR people because I thought when this all started happening that I was gonna see less emails and less podcast work, but it's the opposite. I've been getting bombarded. They're like, please talk about this band's album.
Yeah.
So I'm like, totally. And I've been having to be selective. Like before, I would if they emailed me somebody, I'd be like, yeah, let's have them on, sure. But now I'm like, I'm gonna have to pick because I'm there's too many, and I picked you guys because I remember talking to you guys at Psycho.
Yeah, that was fun. Thanks for doing so. Yeah,
that was a weird experience, man. Because I wasn't prepared at all, and Orange was the one that was sponsoring it, and they weren't really, like, Alex wasn't very prepared. He was just like, I don't know, man, just ask him some questions.
I just remember sitting on like a hotel bed, like drinking a beer and doing this podcast, but I wasn't sure that ever came out.
It did not. I put out the audio. I was waiting for the video, and Orange was handling the video. And I put out the audio on my Patreon because I was trying to come up with ways to have people sign up to the Patreon. Like, here's the exclusive weird interviews that I did in a hotel room and Psycho. But I'm glad that we got to hook up now for this, man. I'm been a fan since then. I caught your set at Psycho. It was fantastic. Were you guys playing Psycho this year?
Yeah, unless you know something I don't, we're still supposed to. I guess we both know that's probably not going to happen, though.
Probably not. I mean, I know they're still pushing.
Yeah.
They're still trying to make it happen. But...
I mean, everyone will hold on until they can't anymore, or I'm sure they're trying to figure out plan B or how to deal with refunds and that shit. But we were supposed to play, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what stage? Because that's one of the things I was talking to, who was it yesterday? I forget who I was talking to yesterday, but we were talking about that too. Playing the pool stage is kind of a nightmare in August.
That's what we were supposed to do for the second time now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pool stage.
I can't say I was very stoked on that. I mean, I was kind of like, man, fucking Evan put us on a real stage inside, like, I don't know. He likes to torture us.
I mean, I enjoy it. Oh, it was I was talking to Dan from Chemist, and they were playing this year as well. But I like the pool stage just because it's I don't know. It's refreshing. It's exciting. I guess it's part of the theme of the whole thing, which is just being in a paradise of metal and
yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I think it's fun on the other side of just like playing that stage. The like you said, the August heat in Vegas, and they had these like gigantic. I think they were supposed to be beach balls, but they were really super heavy, kind of like yoga ball weighted balls flying everywhere on stage and shit. And like hitting the pedal boards and knocking, cables out, and you were just trying to avoid shit while you're playing. And it's so bright you can't even see like what LEDs are on and whatnot. It's just like that's not where I thrive or we thrive as a band. It's like we're definitely a band for the dark room with some cool projections, not for like the pool party.
Yeah.
But I'm happy. I'm happy to play regardless, of course. Just not my stage of choice.
Right. Well, I hope it happens. I was planning on going this year. A lot of people that I want to see are playing. Some homies that don't play often, like Poison the Well and Thursday, were playing. So we'll see. I'm excited to hopefully maybe go there, but I don't know. If they push it back to October, that'd be cool. It'd be less hot.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. We're supposed to tour all the way through December at this point, so everything's booked up. I guess if they reschedule, we won't be part of it, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about the album, Omens. What's the theme when you were coming up with lyrics and writing it? What were you thinking about? Like, what's it about?
I didn't have it. I mean, it's really funny doing these interviews now about the record because it's basically just about the downfall of a civilization and the sort of like cycle that we seen through human history of, the society getting too big for itself and kind of collapsing or imploding or killing itself. And the main thing that I was really concerned about or thinking about a lot when writing the lyrics is something that's always on my mind. It's just kind of like the ever encroaching doomsday from climate change that we see from day to day. And kind of like a really just being fed up and disgusted with the state of affairs that we see these huge problems just mounting like storm clouds on the horizon. And everyone agrees that we're threatened, but no one can somehow get the momentum behind them to change anything, to change the status quo. So it's kind of about, it is a concept album about a fictional society that is founded on the principles of progress that does somehow, get too big for itself and ends up dying off. And it's about like the planet's rebirth after that. It's a very thinly veiled metaphor for how we're living today and the times we're in. And it really just feels like, we see the omens all around us all the time, COVID-19 being one. And we're just kind of helpless and powerless at least you and me as the little people, to do anything about it. It's just been a weird fucking couple of years, and I find it hard to write songs that are about anything other than the topics I see around me, and the ones that really are kind of oppressive in the all day.
Well, to me, that's always something that music does and is necessary, I think, to kind of, you know, talk about some of these things in a way that it's art and you can express it, you know, your opinion and your thoughts about it. You're expressing it artistically, and it helps you kind of cope with it, you know, like not to say that you want to be like you're saying, just kind of not doing anything and seeing the problems and not participating to fix it. I think it is part of fixing, like what you're doing, putting the music out. I think that's putting the word out, the message out. I mean, that's why I liked punk music, you know, because it was like anti-government and like, hey, go, there's a problem. You should probably stand up for yourself and all these things. And I enjoy that. I enjoy even though it seems doomy and dark, and you know, I get shit from like my family where like, you listen to music, you're Satan's music.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, well, I mean, I guess.
Guilty as charged. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be negative or evil person. You know what I mean? It's just more of this is how I cope with it. This is my therapy, I guess, musical therapy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like we're living in heavy times. I think heavy music and heavy topics is just kind of like the daily order. It makes sense that like this, I don't want to listen. That's why I find pop music right now even more banal and stupid than ever, because I don't understand how these are the things people are really preoccupied with. You know, this fucking I love you baby shit. I can't imagine that that's what someone really is interested in hearing or thinking. You know, I guess it's music just to turn off your mind. It's not supposed to be art in that sense. It's just pure mindless entertainment. But yeah, and I'm with you too. Like I grew up listening to punk rock, and I loved like the politicism of it, and I love the message. But I never thought I'd be in a preachy kind of band. And we're still not really doing that. But this is just, for sure, it's just kind of like I can only write about the things that are troubling me pretty much. And that's been the big, it just feels like world is going to hell in a handbasket year after year. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, it could definitely feel that way. I try to be a little more optimistic, but I'm always prepared. You know what I mean? I'm not like one of those blind optimists that, like you said, like listen to pop music, just put on a happy beat and you know, it makes me happy, and I'm not paying attention to, you know, it's like that cipher from the Matrix, like, you know, ignorance is bliss or whatever.
Yeah.
I try not to do that, but I also need to keep some kind of optimism, otherwise like the mental health just kind of deteriorates. And
for sure.
Yeah. And it's something that I've noticed that is increasing with me with older age, or maybe it's the access to social media or whatever it may be. But like I feel myself fighting more to keep sanity, and I know that it has a lot to do with the chaos outside, you know. But seeing all the news and like being on social media, seeing people be negative to each other, and kind of like, I don't know. I'm having more of a struggle with it than I normally would have.
I feel you. I think that's normal too. I think like we really are. Well, every year for humans is like a different set of circumstances than the previous, but like no one really knows what the effect of social media is on the human mind. Like we're not going to know how our generation was living until 100 years from now, when people can look back and have adequate, you know, research completed. It is like I feel it too. Sometimes I feel like I'm going insane, or I don't understand the world we live in, and I feel like I have less of a handle on what's going on with every passing year. You know, like I always thought as a kid I'd have the world figured out as an adult. And as an adult, I feel like I'm less sure of anything than I was as a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a struggle, man. It's a struggle. But, I mean, I guess that's part of life. I mean, our parents had to figure it out. And, you know, at least my parents had to figure it out. They, you know, weren't planning on having children and all that. So it was kind of like, well, now what? Now we got to get 4 jobs and do this and do that and do illegal things to, you know, make money on the side. But
yeah,
it's part of life, trying to figure out where we're going, I have seen some TED Talks about the social media thing that they say that, every time you get a like or whatever, or a comment, it releases like a dopamine in your brain. It makes you happy.
Oh, yeah.
And then, when you don't get that, your brain is kind of going into withdrawal of like not getting that drug from your brain, So I'm curious to see where this ends up.
Yeah.
It's only getting worse. And now with everybody locked in, we're doing more of these things over Skype, and people are doing like those Instagram live interviews. And, there's more people, I think, turning to social media now than there was already.
Yeah. Well, I guess now is one of those exception times where social media really is a good lifeline to keep some sort of connection to people when you're not supposed to be physically next to them. So in normal times, if it's keeping people away from actual natural interactions, that's not good. But it is nice that we can actually connect on some level nowadays through it.
Yeah. I mean, it's always been the intention, I thought, was to connect people. Because I did, like when MySpace and Facebook came out, I reconnected with a lot of people that I hadn't talked to in years. Because, I was like, oh, hey, yeah, there you are. So it does serve that purpose of connecting people, but it has been, I guess, perverted or tainted with just douchey people. People that all they care about is, hey, check out my muscles, or, girls are like, check out my ass and send me money and send me likes and all that. So
yeah, it's definitely like, normal people can maybe drink a beer and not become an alcoholic, and normal people can use Facebook and not become a social media addict. But if you're a born narcissist, then obviously, that's your perfect poison.
Yeah. That's good. I never thought of it that way. It is the same way, because I'm one of those people. Like I used to work in the beer industry, so I would drink every day. But the day that I stopped, I didn't have that addiction, that withdrawal. Like, I need beer.
Yeah.
Maybe a day or something. Like I had a rough day. I'm like, shit, I could really drink a beer right now. And but I don't have that addictive personality. So I guess that's why I'm able to stay away from social media. Because I still use it for the podcast, obviously, and I got to stay on top of it. But I'm not posting like selfies and deuces and all that stuff. Oh, yeah. Let me ask you personally for the music aspect of it. When you're writing, are you listening to any other music at the time? Because I know some musicians, they don't like listening to music at all because they don't want to get influenced. Are you like that? Do you lock yourself away from music when you're writing?
Not really. I guess sometimes if I'm really struggling to break through, or I've got a bad case of writer's block, I'll maybe stop listening to music completely, or I'll start listening to a ton of different music very intensely. But I usually don't. I'm like a total music addict, and I listen to music from morning till night a lot of times, especially when I'm working, because I'll just put on album after album, or I'm really into like discovering new music and discovering old music. So yeah, I would have a hard time if there wasn't a good reason to turn off music completely. But for the most part, it doesn't. I think even if I'm really digging a band, it doesn't necessarily filter in as an influence to Elder, or like consciously to the songwriting process. I don't usually look for inspiration in other bands, and I try not to be overtly influenced by anyone writing music, but I usually don't need to block out everything to do that. I think I have a pretty good handle on what feels like it comes from the heart and not just an emulation of something else.
Right. Well, that's good. Yeah, because I mean, I even personally would struggle with that sometimes when I used to write music. It would end up sounding like somebody else's stuff, and I'd scrap it. Like, nope, I don't want it to sound exactly like a Nine Inch Nails song, or exactly like a Deftones or whatever, whatever I was listening to at the time.
I guess I shouldn't say that nothing we make doesn't sound like anyone else. Of course, that's not the case. I mean, we do. And you know that feeling once you come up with some really badass riff, and then it dawns on you a day later, like, oh no, that's just like that's a song that I heard a week ago.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why some people, do the block and don't listen to music at all, like ever. And I don't get that much. Like, how can you be a musician and not appreciate music from other people?
Yeah, well, I find it really cool to listen to music that doesn't have much to do with rock. Like listen to some like Mike Oldfield, or listen to some, like fucking Beethoven or something. Just something that you can, of course, get melodic inspiration from other things that aren't rock, and no one's ever going to trace it back to that probably and call your bluff on it. So
what are you listening to? What was like the most recent record you had on?
I listened to Captain Beyond this morning. I can see it sitting on the turntable.
Nice.
I was doing some questionnaire about our favorite concept albums, and I was thinking a lot about that record, even though it's not a concept record. It's got this cool flow from song to song, and I felt like that was a really interesting rock record back in the day, because it wasn't like Yes level of prog. I never even thought of it as a prog band, but like that's kind of like, that's actually a good band. That's kind of a segue to Elder. Like it's a heavy rock band, kind of like Deep Purple vein, but seriously prog leaning.
Okay.
But that was just a record I put on this morning.
Nice.
I was listening to Pharaoh Overlord this afternoon. Finnish band. They're like connected to Circle. I was putting together another playlist for a radio station, realizing that like seems like almost all the music I listen to comes from Scandinavia. So that's really weird. I'm not really sure why that is, but yeah, they're kind of like krautrock, experimental, little electronic tinge kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, there's some pretty heavy keyboards in that new Elder song, Embers.
I'm sorry you don't have the full record. I would have sent that to you if I'd known. Anyhow,
I sent an email to Monica. She's sending me a copy. So
okay.
But yeah, that is that throughout the record as well, like the cool synth keyboards.
Yeah, for sure. We had a good buddy of ours who's a pianist, like a professional pianist, come play some keyboard parts that we had written, and also do a bunch of improvising on the record. And yeah, we used like upright piano, Fender Rhodes, a couple different synthesizers. And it's peppered throughout the album. It even takes a dominant role sometimes for some solos, and we've been using it almost like a main instrument. It's not everywhere like a guitar, but that's the trend so far, getting really into using more keyboards and synths.
Are you're gonna have to bring somebody on the road, I suppose, or are you gonna handle that yourself?
We are going to see what we can do. Some of this stuff can be rewritten to play on guitar. Like if you got a synthesizer solo, we can just play it on a guitar.
Yeah.
And it's as sad as it is, it's just a matter of budget. Like I would love to take this dude on the road, Fabio Cuomo, who played on the album. I would love to have him join us, for a tour to support the record. But even before this COVID-19 thing, we didn't really have the budget for any more studio or for any more hired musicians. We're not a big band. We kind of make some pocket change anyhow, and we don't really have enough to start hiring and getting to be super ambitious.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, that would be cool though if you eventually do have him on the road. I mean, it's always it's good to have the person that played it on the record, right? Like,
yeah.
It doesn't always feel right when somebody else is stepping in to play someone's music. I've never really liked when that happens in any band. Like I'll listen to it. I'll still support the band, but whenever even like I know you guys recently got a new drummer, so like that's a little different. But I mean something like a singer or like a lead guitarist gets replaced in a band, it kind of changes it for me. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm with you. Even the drummer, man, like playing the new material from Omens with our new drummer, like it's it fits like a hand in a glove. But we're working on the older stuff, and it's weird because our old drummer Matt, he was the drum sound of the band for its entire life up to now, and having someone else plays those parts, it like even though we're on great terms, like it was like a good split and everything, it feels like cheating on him somehow. It's like, this is like we're not supposed to play this with another drummer. This is his fucking drum part, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But you just got to kind of, that's just the struggle. That's how it is for fucking bands. And you got to cope with it somehow and hopefully find the best meeting point between the new style and respecting the recordings.
Yeah. Oh, cool, man. The last thing I had was beer. I see you're drinking one. So what are you drinking there?
I got a Rothaus Pilsner. It's a German Pils from the southwest of the country. It's pretty hard to get anything other than German beer in Germany.
Yeah, I think they closed down the Stone Brewing that opened up over there.
Yeah, they did.
If I'm not mistaken.
Now it's a BrewDog brewery, but I'm surprised we even knew. Yeah. Yeah, I went there one time. It was a cool location, but pretty far away from the city, and just it's hard to swallow American craft prices in Germany.
Yeah, I figured that much. I figured, when I heard that they were opening up over there, I was like, I don't know. Good luck.
It's funny. There's like the craft beer scene, and I hate referring to it as a scene here just because, like, if you want to go out and drink a beer that's not a Pilsner, you really have to find like a specialty craft beer bar. And they're almost exclusively run by expat Americans and Canadians and Australians in this country, or at least in Berlin. And yeah, the Germany hasn't really taken to it. It's just they're very traditional in their beer, and they make some damn good, simple Pilsners.
They do. I love me a nice clean Pilsner from Germany. They have that word, Reinheitsgebot?
Reinheitsgebot.
Reinheitsgebot, yeah. That's the German clean beer law or whatever it is. They have to do it a specific way and keep it clean.
Yeah, the purity law that says you can only have 3 ingredients, hops, barley, and I guess yeast and water. So it's technically 4, but yeah, it's not. It's not like it's not legal anymore, or it's not the law anymore. But it's pretty much like a point of pride. You won't really find many beers that are brewed here that don't have getreu dem deutschen Reinheitsgebot, which is following the German purity law printed on the front.
Right.
That's cool. Sometimes beer is just beer. It's there for drinking and not for analyzing.
Yeah. I used to get real nerdy about it and brew my own beers and all that, and it got sometimes you just need beer. You just need a nice clean Pilsner, man.
Yeah.
I shouldn't drink today because last night I had we did a Zoom bottle share where it was like 15 of us, everybody drinking and taking shots, and it's been a while, so my body's not used to it, as I haven't been on the road. I haven't been drinking as much. So having like a couple shots of whiskey and some drinks, I was wasted.
Oh yeah, that put me down too. But I try not to put. I mean, no judgment. If there's a time that anyone should be indulging in their vices a little bit more now than other times, it's fucking go for it.
Yeah, if you're staying off the road, might as well. I mean, that to me is the biggest danger. That's what keeps me in check whenever I'm, when we were not quarantined, it was, if I'm going to a concert, I'll have a beer, but that's it. Like 1 or 2 beers, because I don't want to be on the road wasted.
Totally.
Yeah, and a lot of friends are like, come over, we're going to have all this, and, we're going to drink all night. I'm like, yeah, and then what? And then I got to Uber home, because I'm not driving that way.
Yeah, that's just being responsible and caring about the other people you might fucking kill.
Yeah, it's terrible. But, to each their own, I guess. I'm not, like you said, if you're indulging during these times, good for you. Do it. Just stay home.
Yeah.
Well, dude, thanks again for taking some time to talk to me. The new album, Omens, April 24th. Make sure you guys pick it up if you're listening. And what are your social media things for people to follow?
We're on all the platforms. I think if you just Google Elder Band, you'll find us. That's easier than, or maybe something /Elder Band. I don't remember off the top of my head. We're around.
I know you guys. I think have a band camp. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we do have a band camp. That's a great place to pay for some music if you're inclined, and that really is a very direct lifeline to the band.
Yeah, they're one of the better services that don't really take too much of a cut, you know?
Yeah, and definitely it makes you feel better that you're not giving to fucking Amazon or Apple, you know, along the way. I'd rather give Bandcamp some money, I guess.
Yeah. And I know they started a service. I don't know if it's still going, but they were printing vinyl. From what they were trying to print their own vinyls.
Huh.
Yeah, like it was like for the artists, you can. I think you have to have a certain number of pre-orders for it to work out for you.
Interesting.
But they do it, and it's super cheap. I'd look into it. I mean, I know you guys have your record on Armageddon Shop, so I'm not trying to poo on anybody, but
no. Yeah, no. Finding pressing plants and reliable ones is always a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, for sure. Well, dude, thanks again, man. It's good seeing you.
Yeah, likewise, man. Hopefully I'll see you in August, and if not, till next time.
For sure. I'll definitely be at Psycho whenever it happens, so we'll see each other there.
All right, sounds good.
All right, brother. Take care.
All right, take care, man. Bye.
Cheers.